Daytime running lights. So we've had a look at some daytime running lights. We sell some daytime running lights. And we've had a look on eBay at the various wiring kits to control daytime running lights. And I've bought them here. I've bought what looked like everything I could find on eBay currently. And they all come with no instructions, which is good. So I'm going to have a look at how to wire them up and what they control. So some of them, like these, are pretty basic. Some of them here get a bit more complicated. I haven't even got a clue what they do. And this one here is quite a common one. You'll see this diagram a lot on... Should I get it the right way up? There you go. You'll see this diagram a lot. So basically, some of the controllers... What do we want to control with a DRL, Gary? So the idea of a DRL is that people can see you in the daytime. I think Volvo started it all, wasn't it? When they drive around with their side lights on. So with the LEDs, you've got these LED daytime running lights, and I think they are law now. They've got in Europe, you've got to have a car with daytime running lights. So when you turn the ignition on they come. So it's quite a popular upgrade. But what you want it to do is you want it to come on with your ignition. So either you need to wire it into an ignition, and it's quite tricky sometimes to find an ignition light in your engine bay. There's plenty inside your car with your cigarette lighter plugs and all that, but it's quite tricky in your engine bay. So some of these controllers detect when your engine's started, so you can just connect them to your battery. Then some of them, when you turn your lights on, i.e. it's getting nighttime, evening time, they're supposed to dim. I think European law is you're either supposed to turn off or dim your daytime running lights, because where they're bright in the day, at nighttime they sort of blind you and you'd be like a little mogwai apparently. So we're going to have a look at these controller kits and see. This one here also, I don't know what he does. He flashes the daytime running lights with your indicators as well or something. So that's, because sometimes that is the point though, isn't it? If you've got your daytime running light on and it's like really bright, if you've got an indicator next to it, if the indicator's flashing away, sometimes you can't see them. A lot of car headlights now I sound like an old man now. It didn't used to be like that back in the day, Gary, I'll tell you. But they... yeah, when the daytime running light is so bright, it obscures. So sometimes now what they do, it does it on the Evoque. It sort of does that. It dips the daytime running light with the indicator so you can see them flashing. Right, enough waffling. So I've made myself a little test bed here. I've mounted two little cheap, nasty daytime running lights here, and I've got them coming up to here. I've got myself that's that stealth bomber going over. Got myself a power supply here, and what we're going to do is when your engine starts, one thing that happens is your voltage increases. So your normal battery is about 12 volts, but what I can do is I can turn this up to 14, which is what happens when your engine starts. Your alternator starts charging, and that's key to a lot of these controllers. So let's set that back down. So that powers these. So these are going to be my battery, positive and negative. And look at this, I wired this up. That's turning the lights on. And when you turn the lights on, this wire goes live. So we're using these Waco connectors, and we're going to just fire the wires in and see what happens. So should we start with what looks like the simplest one, Gary?
Also this little tiny
little tiny thing here. Right, so let's have a look what this has got. Right, so normally these type of things are going to go onto the battery. Now you wouldn't always put them on the battery. That you could put anywhere on the car in theory, as long as it's a metal. And this one, now first of all I'm noticing we've got no inline fuse on this, so I'd be worried straight away putting that in because there's no fuse protection. So I'd wire that through an inline fuse. But for the sake of our today's test, let me just cut these off and connect them into the positive and negative. So let me just do that quickly. Right, so there is a bit of an instruction on here. So this is the output to the daytime running light. And then here we've got in, and then we've got a D. Is there anything else written on there, Gary? You're not laser eyes. Is there a word written there, or is it just like a line?
Yellow.
I think that's going to be side lights, but we'll have a look. Right, so let's put so this is our battery. So we're going to use these little Wago connectors that you can just push that down. So I've connected it into the battery positive and negative. Like I said before, it wants an inline fuse really. We've got that one, and we've only got one, so we'll only connect one daytime running light. So let's put the positive, we'll link up to the positive. All right, and the negative will link to the negative. All right, we've got the daytime running lights. Oh, he flashed on. Right, so we haven't connected this white wire yet, but let's see what happens. So everything's like this. Right, so let's start the engine, Gary. You can do some engine noise. Whee! Look, as soon as it goes up above 13 volts, look, this comes on. So let's turn the engine off. Right, and they go, right, they go, and it goes back down to 12 volts. Now what happens is it stays on. It's got a delay on timer. So there we go. We've parked outside KFC. We've taken our keys out, and my lights are on. And everyone's going, "Oh mate, you've left your lights on." But look, I go, "Don't you worry." What's the time delay on this? There you go. See?
What, 15 seconds, you reckon?
15 seconds, but that's quite good. But if you pull up and you've got a big long drive, that'd be quite flash, wouldn't it, Gary?
Yeah.
You could just leave your lights on. So that's got a built-in light. But what's this mysterious wire here going to do for us, Gary? Don't know. So let's what should we do? Let's put it in there. We haven't turned our light on yet, have we? So let's start our engine again. There we go. Daytime running light comes on. Now let's turn our lights on here with my little light switch. Oh, hold on, where's my light switch go? Now that's turned. Did that dim? Oh, it dims it, doesn't it? A bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. So if you connect the white wire into a side light wire, it dims it. So that's not a bad kit. Add an inline fuse. Ooh, there. Add an inline fuse to that for your own protection. That will give you some control. Now, I'm a bit dubious, and we might test at the end of the video whether you've got some more powerful DRLs, whether it will control those, how it can cope with. Now, actually, one thing to note. We'll do another little test in a second. Because one thing you can't do with DRLs is dim them by resistors or voltage, but we'll have a look at that later. Right, let's grab another kit, Gary. Let's turn that off. Right, let's have a look at number 2 kit. Now he looks similar to that first one. He hasn't got the luxury of any instructions written on him at all, has he? Again, but he has got an inline fuse though. So if you have a look here, now I think I was playing with this one the other day, and I think it came with like a 40 amp fuse. You don't really want a big fuse in. And one thing we'll see on this power supply is how much current these take. So let's connect that to our positive and negative. Again, I've cut those battery connectors off when I was playing with it the other day. So there we go, we're on the battery. We've got power through the fuse, which is good. We've got the white wire again, which we're guessing is probably side light control, isn't it? And then we've got, again, an output for a black and a red. So now obviously if you wanted to control 2 DRLs, you would just join those wires over to those, right? Right, let's turn on our, right, oh, hold on. Right, let's have a look. Right, have we got anything happening yet? We got nothing happening yet. Let's check my connections. Right, let's start that engine. 11, 12, 13. Oh, there we go. So he comes on about 13.5 volts, okay? So he comes on. Right, we've arrived at KFC again. Let's shut it down again. Down to 12 volts. They dim a bit just because the voltage drops. But let's see how long he... It was a much shorter delay on that one, isn't it? So short delay, inline fuse is good. Oh, I'm going to have to go and sort that front door out. Right, let's have a look what the white wire does, shall we? So let's put that in there. Oh, missed it. Right. So this should be side lights, so... Right, so let's start the engine again then. Let's get those lights on. There we go, 13.5 volts, it's all on. Right, now let's turn the side lights on. That's it, if you zoom back a bit. Yeah, that's doing the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's dimming that. So there we go, that kit, not too bad. Benefits from the inline fuse, but the delay's a bit short for my liking.
Yeah.
If you're going to have it, you might as well have 10 seconds.
Yeah, delay's a bit short, but it comes with a fuse as well, and no instructions.
No, yeah, not even,
Yeah, so it's, yeah.
But anyway, hopefully this video will help someone. Right, let's get another kit out. Right, so here's another one. It's a cheaper looking kit. It's only, this is a bit worrying, isn't it? Look, you can see it. It's not got much in the way of weather seal there. I don't know. Feels a bit odd that. The wire's a bit flimsier as well on me. So here we go. We have got what looks like an inline fuse here. So let's quickly snip these off. Only take me a sec. Here we go. I'm getting good at this now. Just yeah, they're not the greatest connectors, these. But yeah, these are, they're all over eBay. There's hundreds of them. So if you want to look on eBay, look for DRL Controller. That seems to flag most of them up. Alright. So here we go. So we've got the positive going in. Whoa. Alright. We've got the battery negative going on. Or again, any earth will do. Here we go. Right, that's good, right. So we've got that. So that all goes down to that. Now we've got the white wire again, which we pretty much, we're getting the hang of this, will be Gary. Alright, and then we've got these two here, which come out the other side, which must be the output for the... So let's put those on our daytime running light. Right, so we'll leave the side light wire for now. Turn that on. It gets a bit weird because it has to stabilise the voltage here. Right, so let's get that down to 12. It'll take a while to turn off because we got the delay. Right. Oh, blimey. Right, so here we go. So let's start the engine. There we go. Right, yeah, so it's coming on. They all come on about the same sort of voltage. It's giving it, it's controlling that, all right. So let's have a look. KFC. There we go. Down to 12 volts. It dims a little. Right. What's the delay going to be on this one? It's quite short like the other one, isn't it? Again. Yeah. Right, let's try that side light. I think that is going to be a side light dimming, isn't it? Pop that in there. Right, okay. So let's start the engine up again. 13 odd volts. It comes on. Right, let's turn the side light on. Yeah, that's dimming the DRL, isn't it? One thing to note. Right, this power supply, this is telling me my the current. So this is only pulling 0.6 of an amp. So it's fairly low. And let's see if that should reduce when I turn the side lights on. You can see it's half the current. So it's gone from 0.6 to nearly 0.3. So it should, in theory, have half the brightness. But yeah, when you look at the fuses, let's have a look at the fuse in this one for a laugh, because we know that when it's on full power, look, it's taking less than an amp, right? So let's see what crazy fuse they've put in. Let me just turn that off. All right, let's have a look. I might need your eyes on this, Gary. How do we even get into this fuse holder? There you go. It's a push and it's an unscrew. Right there. Right, yeah, I'll have the camera, Gary. You see, there should be some little things marked on the edge there. Has it got any ratings? Something A?
25?
25, yeah, I can believe that, yeah. So when you're getting these things, I'd suggest putting a lower rated fuse in. You want to be putting like a 1 amp, 2 amp, 3 amp fuse in, yeah. They're normally a little bit crazy with their fuse ratings. Right, what's next, Gary? Oh, you grab that. Should we get on with this monster now? Yeah. Right, let me take all this off, tidy up the desk a bit, and we'll have a look at this one. Right, this is a monster. Now, there are quite a few of these for sale on eBay. I've seen a lot of people selling this one. So let's detangle him. Right, we got a bit. So we got a picture on here anyway, haven't we, Gary? So we're doing all right. Right. So we've got some controllers. It looks like we need a red and black on the battery. And then it looks like we've got a left and a right, which is good, because those other kits just had one pair of outputs, didn't they? So let's have a look what we got at the other end. Right, we got someone with a connect. There we go. I reckon that's our... So again, we've got an inline fuse holder. We'll have a look in a minute and see what fuse we've got in that. So let's get that. Let's start with the easy ones. Let's get that. Again, I may have cut the battery. I was playing with this at the weekend. I did a video without this little super bench, and it was just, I confused myself. So I rustled this up this morning, and I think it's working quite well. Right, okay, so we got power going to it now. Let's have a look what else we got coming out this other end here, Gary. We got a random white wire. We got a random green wire, all on its own, and then we've got 2 sets of. These sides are both the same, so I think this must be going to the DRL light, and I think the yellow is for the indicator, but we'll have a look. And we've got a blue light. Now, the blue light goes to ignition positive. Now one thing, right, so let's get the daytime running lights rigged up. So let me get the there we go, let's get the black and the red on this end in here. Right, so that's that one. Right, let me get the same. Right, so that's one side. Let me get the other side. Then and we'll worry about all these other. Now, from what I remember, oh, I'm missing a connector here. I'll just brutal. Ah. I've lost my Wago connector. Oh no, we haven't used that one yet, have we? Let me get that. Let me get one on there. Right, give me a minute. Right, so we've got them connected. We've got the battery connected. We've got the red and blacks connected. So let's have a look when we start our engine. Here we go. Hold on, we're 14 volts. It's not happening, is it? So I don't think this circuit has a voltage detection. So I think this blue wire, where it says ACC, I think you have to find an ignition. So this circuit looks really good at first, but it hasn't got that. So you're going to have to find yourself an ignition light. So let me plug the ignition on. In fact, I'm just going to touch it on the battery for now. Right, there we go. So I've turned the ignition on and it feeds it. Now let me just turn the ignition off. So I've turned it off. Our voltage will drop, but I don't think it makes any difference with this circuit. So it's got a time delay again. But this time delay is, I reckon this is pushing 20 seconds now. Must be for people with longer drives. you know, you can adjust that on the on the Range Rovers. You can adjust the delay time to follow me home. There we go. Right, so that's off. So we know what that does. Right. What's the other wire? The white. Let's have a look what happens with the white wire. So we've connected the. Let's turn them back on again. Let's plug that in there. We've got the ignition on. Daytime running lights have come on. Night time's coming. Yeah. So that's dimming those again. And if you look on so you can see we're taking twice the current now because we've got both DRL lights on. So before it was like 0.6 of an amp. With that fuse earlier, I should have said that, shouldn't I? I said 0.6, but with the 2 lamps, you're going to need like a 2 amp. So there you go. 2 amp, 3 amp, 5 amp. So yeah, with both lights on at full power, we'll put in 1.2 amps. And then when we go down to half power, it's cut it down to below half to 0.46. Right. All good, all good, all good. Right, so we understand the white wire, we understand the blue wire. What's this green one do? Should we just go wild and stick him in that? Oh my giddy aunt. Cool. Should we give one of those warnings? This should have, we don't want people having epileptic fits. There we go. Right, you have to edit that. Put a little warning when you edit it, Gary. Put warning, flashing lights in the next scene. Right, there we go. Right, so that's that. Right, so let's turn our light. Interesting, did it make any difference whether your lights had my lights on then? Let me see, is the strobe in? Yeah, it's all much the same, right? Right. So that's that one explained. So summary. Oh, let's have a look what fuse rating it's got in it. Oh, I love it. So we reckon it's pulling 1.2 amps maximum, right? And this one's a little tricky one, isn't it? How do we open that one open? Well, there we go. Right, then I'm going to need your eyes again, Gary. Right, yeah, you grab that. I'll grab a camera. Gary, your hands, it looks like you're one of those puppets that pretend to be still. You've seen those in the shopping centres. They stand dead still.
Yeah, that's 25 again.
25 amps. Yeah. So, yeah, another note, if you are buying one of these, get yourself a 5 amp or something, but 25 amps ridiculous for something that's only pulling 1.2 amps. Right, we got one more to try, I think, haven't we, Gary? Yeah. Yeah, right, let's grab shake it out of the mess of piles of wires there. I got no idea. It looks good, doesn't it? Metal case.
Metal, yeah.
Metal. It's got a quality control sticker on it. It's got to be good. Right, let's get that one and have a look. Let's tidy up my mess here. Oopsie, I forgot the yellow wire and all my excitement. I forgot. So let's work out what all that strobe stuff is fried my brain, Gary. Right then. Right, so I'm going to have to emulate an indicator by tapping it on the positive. If I've got enough here, I've got enough. So hopefully it'll be this one. So let's have a look. So I'm going to just tap this on and off here like I'm indicating. So interesting, right? So it's on when I'm off. You'd have to zoom back a bit so you can get both bits in, Gary. So when the bulb flashes, it turns that off, and then when I do it again, so I think it will. Oh, there you go. Everyone likes the phone in the middle of the video. So I think what's happened, your indicator will go and your side light, so it'll do that, which is quite good. Right, let me take this phone call. So summary: good kit, inline fuse, wrong. It's got the wrong spec. It's got the nice one. I like the fact you've got these long wires. You've got the wiring for both lights and the indicator feature. If you're planning on putting your DRLs close to the indicator, I think that's quite a nifty little feature, actually. The only annoying thing is you've got to find that ignition live. It hasn't got. If only they could make this circuit with the 14-volt sensing and automatically switch. That would save you the stress of that. And for all you kids who want the strobe, I mean, it's the wiring loom that keeps on giving, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah.
Gary's exactly tempted by that. You can see himself there. Right, let's get on to that complicated one now. Right, we've got this one, and I think we've only got half the loom. But I think the red and black are going to be the battery supply. I think the blue looks like it's an ignition. And interestingly, the ignition goes to a wire that's called DRL and position light. I think I'm going to just quickly take the top off, but it looks like we've got a white and grey here and another white and grey there with a different connector. So I'm not quite sure. I think I'm missing part of a loom here. I think this looks like it came from a quite expensive kit, I think, because if you look, all the wires have got those silicon seals in the back. It all feels proper. Let's have a look inside quickly. That's all glued and bonded together. We're not getting anywhere with that. I'll have to get brutal with this. So let's see what this does. Because we haven't really got our perfect. I would say we haven't really got a perfect kit yet. The other thing I'd like to see is a kit with one of those piggyback connectors that goes on the fuse box, where you take a fuse out the fuse, because that's easy to find then, and then you haven't got to go putting little wires onto your battery, which always feels a bit gash to me. Right, here we go. What have we got? Black. Right. Now we will do a bit more. When we've done this one, keep watching, because I'm going to try and see if we can get one of those other kits working that hasn't got dimming on it. But bear with me. Right, here we go. So we've got... Right. Let's have a look. So there's battery positive. Right, there's battery negative. Alright. I'm gonna see. This one says DRL only. Right, I'm gonna cut that off and put that on that one. Put on that on there. Right, and I've got an extra earth here already handy, so. Because that light isn't going to work without an earth. Let's put an earth on there. Right, so let's have a look what happens now. We've got nothing coming on. We're at 14 volts. So I think we've probably got to turn the ignition on to get anything out of it, right? Let's just stick that in there. Still got nothing, have we? No. Let's check it doesn't need a bit more voltage. No, we've got nothing coming out of here. So yeah, I'm a bit of a loss of that one. We're going to work out. Right, give me a minute. I'll just go reorganise it. I want to try a different way of wiring something. Right, one thing I've done now is I've just wired the DRL up straight to the battery. Now, in theory, when you reduce the voltage, it shouldn't have much impact on the DRL, but actually it does. So if I go down to like 10 volts, you can see it does dim it. But the theory says that shouldn't work. The theory is you should reduce the current the current has much more effect on the brightness than the voltage. So yeah, normal bulbs, like these type of halogen bulbs, you would reduce the voltage to reduce the brightness. But on these LEDs, it's really the current you should reduce. There we go. It's a bit rambly, a bit mad, but hopefully that's helped you look at some of the stuff that's for sale on eBay, some of the different DRL lights, and hopefully that gives you an idea of which one you want to buy to wire up your DRLs.